Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off a 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off a 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with a 12-month all-access package, coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. That man is Teddy Covers. You're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. And I shot the bed in the presidential address yesterday. I opened every day this week talking about how I won. 0-3 yesterday, 7-4 on the week. My brother Teddy, we got a great show lined up. Who's on? What are they talking about?
Sure. So when I tweet out my big game breakdown every day, I always call it Wager Talk Today, your sports central for gamblers. Today is that day, man. Look, Dave Cokin's going to come on. He's going to talk NHL. He's going to talk MLB World Series. He's going to talk college football, Kentucky and Tennessee. Ralph Michaels going to come on after that. He's going to talk college basketball. He's going to talk college football teams with their bowl hopes dashed. Plus, the Ohio State-Penn State game and San Francisco against L.A. in NFL action. My big game breakdown, I'm going to talk NFL in London, the Jaguars and the Broncos. And, of course, Andy Lang to close out the show. He's got prop picks for us in NBA action and NFL action for the weekend. Three of them that he's going to give out over the course of his segment. So, college football, NFL, MLB, college hoops, NBA, all covered. This is your Sports Central for gamblers.
There we go. A million mottos, a million slogans. Teddy, before we bring Dave Cokin in, I got to talk to you about something that went down last night for me, because very rarely do I have fun as a gambler. I'm either completely stressed out or completely stressed out. Those are my two options normally. And it's never fun. Like, there's nothing fun about sports gambling from my perspective, especially as a handicapper. Go ahead.
So I find the blowouts fun. You know, when you have a right side, that's fun. All right, when it's easy, when you're not sweating the fourth quarter, do you have fun with those or no?
No. Because fun is fun. Fun is a different word than easy or calming or chill or acceptable. Fun is when you are having fun. And
sure, like when your team's blowing them out.
Fun, they're normally off the TV. So yesterday, I had two NFL prop bets. I had Brady over 39 and a half pass attempts. And I had Brady over 25 and a half completions. Dude, I'm working it out. So the reason it's fun, firstly, is I can't get a lot of money down on these prop bets. What do you get, $500 or something? I'm not stressing prop bets from a financial perspective, but I stress them from a client perspective. So long story short, the last play of the game, 4th and 8 from the goal line, 4th and goal from the 8 to get to 26 completions and give me the win. The last drive, I needed 6 throws, 7 completions. They were getting closer and closer. I was like worried he was going to throw it into the end zone and they'd catch it and then I'd get the touchdown, but not the yardage. The drama of those two props yesterday were, and I'm telling you in all seriousness, it was fun. Like I was just enthralled by the drama of those two, and they both got there. One on the final play of the game and the other on like the third final play of the game. It was hardcore dramatic in my house.
Sure, and now you're understanding why prop betting. Number one, you're going to get lots of results. You know, when you have lots of bets, there's going to be lots of results that come right down to the end. All right, call it a coin flip, call it whatever you want to do, but that level of drama is why prop bets keep growing.
Yeah.
And the side's not in doubt, and the total's not in doubt. You still got something else in doubt. Oh, Brady over under completions, Brady over under pass yards, whatever it is. The drama. People look for the drama. I like right side winners. I don't want any drama in the fourth quarter. I like, let's just, rocking chair game. But there's certainly something internally about the drama that drives betting action.
Yeah.
No argument with that.
Yeah,
Congrats on winning both of them last night.
Thanks, brother. You had Baltimore, which was a nice call, but I got it. So, and I'll end right here. But, it was like 12 minutes left in the game. Pats had the ball. I needed 17 more passes 13 more passes from Brady. And I just didn't think I was going to get there. Dave Cokin joining us. Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Looking forward to should be a fun weekend.
That it will, and you've been rolling, dude. 5 straight winning college football weeks, so congratulations on that. And you're in play tonight, right?
Yes, I have a play on the East Carolina BYU game, 1 of 5 this weekend in college football, and you can get that game right now by going to my homepage at WagerTalk, wt.buzz/DC, and maybe take advantage of the Blue 31 coupon code. This is a great special that's running for Halloween, where if you're buying a package with some duration, you save a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. A ton. 31% to be exact. Dave Cokin, let's get into this. We got Kentucky going into Tennessee, and a lot of people are talking about this game. We had Trigger come on, I think, a few days ago and give out Kentucky. Where are you going here?
Same way. Complete contrast in styles here. I'll bring up college basketball for a moment. This is a game where you've got one team that plays at a snail's pace, and the other one wants to fast break, and whoever wins the tempo battle is going to get the money. Kentucky, in terms of tempo, is the slowest team in the country. 131 out of 131. Tennessee wants to play at warp speed. I tend to look at the dog in games like that. Tennessee, and look, Tennessee is a really good team. I've backed them at least a couple of times, I think 3 times maybe this year. Got the money each time, had them against Alabama. They're human, though. And next week's game against Georgia that's the circled game now for Tennessee.
Yeah.
So there is the potential of a look ahead. I don't have to win the game with Kentucky. I just have to keep them in the hunt. 12.5 is what I took, and I think it's 12 now. But 12.5 is what I took. It is a 3% play. It's my free play this week. Give me the Wildcats plus the points. We'll see if they can hang in there. And by the way, one thing that also factors in here is Kentucky is really good at stopping opposing quarterbacks from scrambling. That's a big part of Hooker's game. So that's also something favorable to the Cats.
So last year's game was a wild shootout, 45-42. And I know you're not a totals guy, and I know you're not a guy that's worried about last year's stuff. But I want to ask you, does Kentucky correlate with under in this game, or do you think Kentucky can trade points with Tennessee like they did a year ago?
They're going to have to trade points to some extent. But Tennessee doesn't have a great defense, and the secondary can be exploited. So, get to 24, I think, is probably the magic number. Kentucky gets to 24, should be okay.
Dave Cokin joining us. Dave, let's talk some ice hockey, shall we? Vancouver got a win last night, and man, I'll tell you, they were diving in front. Yep.
I know you're a Maple Leafs. I know you're a Maple Leafs guy. Why haven't they called Barry Trotz yet?
So, I speak about this.
Just go get him. Make him an offer. This guy's not taking him anywhere.
Dave, I'm with you 100%. And the fact is that when Barry Trotz was fired, I really felt like we should be getting him immediately. It's, what on your notes here, it's right. Should the Leafs offer Trotz a contract right now? No. They should have offered Trotz a contract 4 months ago. We're literally talking, in my opinion, the best coach in all of ice hockey, and him and John Cooper. It's amazing that he's still without a job, and it is amazing that the Leafs aren't getting him. But there's obviously some kind of hardcore man crush between Dubas and Sheldon Keefe. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we got Pittsburgh playing Vancouver tonight, minus 196 for Pittsburgh. And I mean, my take on this game is Vancouver all the way. Plus 162
Really?
At home. Finally got a win. Yeah, I'd like to hear it from you, man. I guess you're going Pittsburgh.
I laid 150. Knew the line was going to go up. So, and this is another reason to get the all access packages. You got this game. You're on all access. You got it about 9 o'clock last night. Okay, it's like we're going to grab this now. Here's why. This is why I watch games too. Watching the Vancouver-Seattle game last night, and I think it was Eddie Olczyk, because I was watching the Seattle feed, says, boy, the Penguins had a really hard practice today. Oh. Sounds like Sullivan's not real happy with the way they played on the road. Hard practice. They got to come out and play tonight. The Canucks, man, they had to go all out to finally get that win. They're probably going to be with Spencer Martin in goal tonight. Give me Pittsburgh there. It's more than likely Jarry. That's a big edge. Canucks get what might be another injury last night. They're already without Hughes. They're already without. I'm blanking on one of the forwards that's out. Very end of the game last night.
I don't know which forward got injured last night.
No, it wasn't.
But
no,
Dave,
it's one of the forwards that's already out. Last play of the game last night, one of their frontline guys blocks a shot off his knee. He had to be helped off the ice, so I would doubt that he's in the lineup tonight. I don't know what they're going to have left in the tank. I think Pittsburgh's going to be the much fresher team. Completely agree with the line movement here. I think the Penguins are winners tonight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand your thought process, and Pittsburgh did have a rough couple of games, but I mean, I look at this game as, Pittsburgh is not as good as their record. Vancouver is way better than their record. I want to buy low. I think they are, Dave, and I honestly think not only do I think Vancouver is better than their record, I think they're a shit ton better than their record. Those games that they lost, I think 4 in a row when they were up by 2 goals. One can look at either side of that coin, Dave. One can look at the fact that they got out to a 2-goal lead against good teams consistently night in, night out, and then they just fell apart at the end. I think it's easier to fix the fall apart than it is to get up 2 goals on good teams. It's hard to get up 2 goals on good teams. It's easy to relinquish a 2-goal lead. It is correctable to fix a fall apart. It is very hard to fix not scoring goals. This Vancouver team is a bet on team, folks. Dave and I disagree, but that's okay. Dave, we gotta talk before we get into the World Series, because I know you want to discuss the World Series.
Yes, I have a strategy.
Guys, Yeah, World Series betting strategy. Guys, last night I tweeted out a steak that I personally cooked. Dan, look at that. Oh,
That
Dan.
is beautiful. Gorgeous.
Daniel's son. Anyway, Dave literally texted me and said he would like to discuss the steak in the segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, the steak.
That is
Dave,
perfect.
we had a listener say, in order for it to be a perfect cook, you have to actually cook the steak.
That's not true.
And
I can't cook, but I know a good steak when I see one. And believe me, I would consider myself an aficionado when it comes to beef and seafood. That steak is gorgeous. You can call it medium rare or rare plus. Would be the chef designation.
Medium rare plus.
Right, and that is the way you should cook a prime steak.
Yeah. So no thermometer, and literally it was 4.5 minutes on each side. Let it rest for about 5 minutes each. Simple as that. Nothing to it.
Yeah. And
anyway,
if you don't like meat that way, then don't order a prime steak because you're wasting it. Go to Applebee's and get one of their select steaks and let it be well done, and you'll be fine. But these people who pay $70 for a decent steak and then overcook it, it's like that's just nuts. That's about as smart as betting the Arizona Coyotes every game.
Teddy Covers, anything to add about that steak, or do you really badly want us to move on?
Well, we got nothing about sports today, so I wouldn't worry about it. It's a light day. It's only a football Friday in the middle of NHL and NBA season, so
you got to eat.
Talking about steaks.
Listen, a big part of sports betting is having the proper food to enjoy the sports betting with. Okay.
Yeah.
Ties in.
Yeah.
All right. So
World Series starts today. You have a strategy you want to discuss.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bet the series yet. I think the Phillies have a shot today. And look, Verlander's a great pitcher. He's going to the Hall of Fame first ballot, but I just can't get around this. He's had 7 World Series starts. He's 0-6 with a mid-5 ERA. I'm not laying a big price with that. I don't care who you are. It's got to be in your head. And the Phillies have to look at that and say, we can get him here. I kind of hope the Phillies win this game because then I'll bet the Astros to win the series. I think Houston's the superior team right down the line, quite frankly. My strategy, therefore, is to wait on this game. If Houston wins, might go out and bet Houston to get the sweep. If Houston loses, I'll get a better price for the rest of the series. My first individual game play will probably be Game 3 when they get to face Ranger Suarez. What the Astros have done to lefties this year, it's scary. I think it's 42-12. So that's the game where I'm going to want Houston individually in Game 3. I'm not betting tonight. I can't lay this price on the series, and I just can't back Verlander in Game 1. And I don't want Nolan because he's prone to big innings. I know his analytics are great, and the metrics crowd is going to be all over him. But the guy's been prone to big innings, and the Astros are a big inning team. So I don't know what to tell you in Game 1, but that's my strategy for the World Series, and I think I'll get paid.
So you don't trust Verlander, and I don't blame you, given his track record. He's already been bombed once this postseason.
Yep.
Nola last time out was given a 4-0 lead, and was unable to cash a first 5-inning ticket in San Diego, which is as hitter-friendly as you're going to get, or as pitcher-friendly as you're going to get. Don't we want the over in this game? Or the first half over?
I don't know, because Nola is capable of throwing 6 great innings, and so is Verlander. So, no, I don't think I do. But the track record would scare the crap out of me in terms of betting an under.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Dave Cokin. And Dave, you've promoted. You've got your college football pack up. You're playing tonight. Guys, use that promo code BOO31 on Dave Cokin, my brother. What a pleasure. We'll see you next Friday. Teddy, RJ Arsenault writes, Prez interrupts Dave's World Series talk for a steak a nutless monkey could cook. Why nutless? This is a strange adjective. You know what, Dave?
Literally,
Tell him.
I texted Prez last night and said, you got to get that steak on the show. And it's perfect. And look, I'm going to be 70 in a couple of months, and I like talking about food. Okay? So if you don't like it, too bad. You probably like your steak well done.
RJ.
So there.
RJ, I just still want to know why you chose the word nutless. Like a nutless monkey? It's the strangest thing. Teddy, what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
So Tom Brady cashed overs last night. You talked about it at the top of the show. He cashed over yards. He cashed over completions. He didn't, of course, cash over touchdowns, though. And the one early meaningful touchdown came after a defensive penalty. They did have 3 first downs off of 3 defensive penalties, including the 40-yard PI in the 4th inning. And look, I never want to let personal feelings get involved with sports betting. But I can't help myself, Prez. I just want to see Brady fail. I can't tell you why. I went to Michigan with the guy. I rooted for him most of the way. But, there's something about the Schadenfreude here, and it's real. I want to know that the rich, successful people are just as unhappy and miserable as everybody else. And Brady, obviously, certainly looks that regard. And the reports last night was that he was still sitting in front of his locker room in full uniform when everyone else had already left and dressed and gone out. Last one in the building kind of thing. That amused me. And, of course, the key, if you're going to let personal feelings get involved, you got to make money betting against the guy. We were able to do that last night, and we'll continue to do that until proven otherwise. Tom Brady finally got old. The team around him finally got old, and it's showing every time Tampa's on the field. That's what I learned last night, Prez, although can't say we didn't know it before the game. We were able to catch a ticket with Paul.
He looked terrible. Yeah, he really did look terrible last night. Yeah, and underthrowing, overthrowing, I mean, it was abysmal. But I will tell you this, Teddy. It's going to be damn fun watching his upcoming dating life, to say the least. Ralph Michaels joining us. What up, Ralph? How are you, my friend?
Hey, guys. I want to mention one thing about Boo 31 that you were talking about. It's only valid once at WagerTalk, so use it wisely. Don't blow it on a package, a one-day package, when you might want to buy a 3, a 7, or a 30. So you can use it once at WagerTalk. You can once at Sports Memo. Use it wisely.
Yeah, well said, Ralph. And I should have mentioned that, but what else is new? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, what do you got for us? See, college football teams with bowl hopes dashed. How do we bet them?
First, I want to talk about the college basketball guy. 10 days away to the college basketball season starts. They tip off on a Monday this year, which is sort of weird, the first Monday in November. It's free at WagerTalk. There's a full stat page for each conference, returning starters, returning minutes, conference forecasts from 3, all the new coaches, last year's ATS home and away, last year's conference-only stats, and then there's a write-up, a conference preview on all 31 conferences, a shout-out to my son, Jeff Michaels, Tony Mejia, Brian Power, and Adam Trigger helped, and Steve Heigl, a sports writer. Every conference has a preview on it, 100-page guide, free at WagerTalk. Go to my homepage and download it today.
Yeah, let me jump in right here, Ralph, because obviously, college basketball, you feel like, oh, yeah, it's coming somewhere down the line. No, it's coming in 10 days. So the key that Ralph is talking about, there's 2 factors that are key here. One, it's freaking free. Just go to his page and download it.
Free.
2, it is absolutely worth every minute you spend with it. We're talking about veteran handicappers looking at teams from a point spread perspective with a ton of info on every squad. I download it. I read it cover to cover. I encourage you to do the same. Ralph, what else we got for today?
Well, we had to start with a chart, right? So, Prez, as you said, I wanted to talk about college football and talk about teams once they reached a disappointment level. With as many bowls as they are, over 60% of the teams make a bowl game. So almost every team comes into the season wanting to become bowl eligible. So what happens when you reach that 7th loss and you're off a loss? Your bowl hopes are now dashed. Oftentimes, if you're going to make a coaching change, you wait until you are bowl ineligible to make that change. So I wanted to break down when teams are off a loss and they now have 7 losses, so they cannot go to a bowl game unless you have that funky season where there are not enough bowl eligible teams. But if they reach that 7th loss and they're off a loss in game 8, you see 43.9%. Week 9, 43.5. Week 10, 42. Week 11, 43.9. So we're not talking about a crazy system, but when you have a 56 to 57% fade, it's a situation you want to look at. When you get to game 12, that means you battled, you were close. And remember, week 12 or game number 12, the final game of the season, 95% of the time, I can make a justification. Why are those teams at 50% or just above 50%? Well, normally game number 12 is your rivalry week. So there are situations when you're playing that team that you always end the season with that you want to finish on a positive note. 2 teams apply this week. It's Akron and Charlotte. And one more subset to go with this chart. If you lost your last game as a favorite, like Charlotte did, you are only 34.3% that following game.
So I got to ask you, Ralph, the 2 teams that come into play this week, Akron and Charlotte. Neither team's a perennial bowl team. Akron's been to 1 in the last decade. Charlotte's been to 1 in their history. Neither's been to any in any recent season. Is this really 2 teams that this week we can say, I'm going to fade them because they're not going bowling, the bubble burst? Isn't that a little bit stronger a little bit later when teams that actually think they might get to the bowl game or go into the season with a chance to make it a bowl game? It just mentally, it seems to be like the very bad teams are the ones that are going to get eliminated earliest, and they know they're bad. They're not going to. There's no bubble burst with a very bad team. Whereas the teams that are mediocre, it might be truly deflating a little bit later. Obviously, your numbers don't show that, but I'm going to ask you why.
Well, let's look, Teddy. Week 8, game number 8 means you've lost 6 games in the first. You lost 7 games. In the first
Right.
in the first 7. So,
Right.
Obviously that applies to a lot of bad teams. I almost didn't use this chart because I actually like Akron this week, and Akron was close to being a play for me. They've covered 4 of their last 5. Under Moorhead, the first-year head coach, you see that they are not competitive. They have not tossed in the towel like they used to in the past. Now, I didn't use Akron because I think Miami is a little undervalued. Blaine Gabbert, who started the opener, has been hurt, has missed every game since last game. He came back. They did lose that game, but I think Miami actually has value as well. So I actually like Akron this week. I still lean with them, even though Gabbert's making their second start, because I like the fight under Moorhead. But again, it's not a situation I'm not playing on either of these teams. And the data shows 43.9% in game number 8, which we are this week. So we'll see how it pans out. And, if they fade, we'll update it again in a week or 2 and see what happens.
Ralph Michaels, everybody. Ralph, Michael Martinez wants to know who's the starting QB for FIU this weekend. Do you know?
I don't. It's still a question mark as far as I know. They're another team. I actually like them tonight too, but since I didn't know the quarterback situation, I didn't play on them. And there's always that rule: don't play on the crappiest teams in college football. And FIU clearly is in that mix.
Ralph Michaels. Oh my lordy! Kevin McHugh. Listen to this guy. We'll get you the likes, Prez, but for the love of God, no presidential picks. For the love of God, he does not want a presidential pick. 7-4 this week, but Kevin does not want a pick. Kevin, I will give you a heads up before I do it so that you can, Ralph, Ohio State playing Penn State. This is a big game, man. Number 2 versus number 13. And the home team is plus 15 points. How do we bet this one?
Well, we were on this spot last week and we talked about using Ohio State against Iowa. And I said if Iowa can score 10 points, now they needed a defensive touchdown to get there. But again, Iowa handed the Buckeyes with as many turnovers as they had. I mean, Ohio State didn't play that well early, but that's why you play 60 minutes. This team is almost reaching a historic level. I just tweeted it out that only 11 or 12 teams since 2006 have scored 45 or more points in 5 straight games. So they're at a level now where we're seeing numbers. By the way, I think those teams are 75% ATS. But again, that's not the reason this is a play. I look at Penn State, and I don't think they are a top 20 team, to be honest with you. You know, they played on the road against Purdue early, struggled, played at Auburn, they win that. They played one tough team, one top 35 offense this year. That was Michigan. Michigan ran for 418 yards. Yes, they beat Minnesota last week, but Minnesota was without Tanner Morgan. You have the most experienced returning starting quarterback in the Big Ten in Morgan, who doesn't play, and you have to go with a young quarterback on the road. Ohio State's offense, the best there is in football. Plus 3.56 yards per play is this team. They're number 1 in offensive yards per play, 7.77. Number 5 in defense, 4.21. I haven't found a team that's been plus 3.56 in the last several years when I went back. Ohio State takes care of business. I'm not worried about Ohio State going to Penn State. If you say, oh my God, Penn State, a home dog. They've been a home dog 3 times since 2018. Guess what? They're 0-3 straight up. They're 0-3 ATS. Ohio State beat them and covered last time here. Ryan Day has their number. Ryan Day doesn't let his foot off the gas here. Only Northwestern on deck. Buckeyes cover again.
So, Ralph, I saw somehow some mainstream commentary on this game yesterday. And I do my best to avoid all mainstream commentary in college football because it's nonsense. But the commentary the mainstream was making was, well, Ohio State hasn't beaten anybody that's ranked. That Ohio State is the two teams. Like Penn State's tested. They went at Auburn. They played Michigan. And Ohio State's not tested yet. From a strength of schedule standpoint, is that valid or is that nonsense?
Well, you know, I actually look at Sagarin's numbers, and I put Sagarin's in the college football guide because for the bad teams, you know, he includes the FCS teams so you get a level. Strength of schedule is Ohio State 30, Penn State 40. So when you're looking at the statistical profiles, the numbers are even. Yes, Penn State, you know, has played them, and Ohio State has had a very home-friendly. Their only road game is Michigan State. So if you had a younger quarterback, I would be more leery to lay it, even if you have a stat profile as good as them, going on the road, and this is only your second road game with your first being Michigan State. But with Stroud and this team, again, they're just built different.
Ralph, last game, my friend, big matchup. Rams against San Fran, -1.5 for the 49ers. Rams off of a bye. Revenge in play, division game. How do we bet this?
Well, revenge in play, the Rams have revenge. So I wanted to look in the database. When you're playing a division foe the second time in the season, you beat them as a home favorite, and now you're an away favorite. Well, 80, and 3. You're exactly 50%. So the revenge situation doesn't apply. Next week here, my chart for you, we'll be talking about the second meetings of division. So make sure you watch that. So what happens if you lose the first as a favorite? What happens if you win the first as a dog? And we'll talk about those scenarios more on next week's show. But, you know, if you want to look at how turnovers affect the team, the San Francisco Giants are the poster child for this. They are number 3 this season in yards per game diff. That means you should be 1 loss, 2 losses on the season. Why have they lost? Well, let's see. -1 turnover at Chicago, -3 turnovers at Denver, -3 turnovers at Atlanta, -1 turnover at Kansas City. Garoppolo a 9-4 ratio. You know, Lance and Purdy are each threw an interception. So if they continue to play sloppy, they're not going to win. But I don't think they will. We talked about buys a couple times. When a division team like San Francisco, when a division team is playing on the road and they have a bye on deck, like San Francisco does, it's been a 65.5% play. And if they're not a double-digit favorite, it's covered 70.6%. That says to play San Fran this week. The next time that happens is actually week 13 with Green Bay, Washington, and New Orleans. The Rams are a team that still haven't caught this defense for San Francisco. I think gets a lot of pressure on them. And I do think San Francisco, again, you can't predict that they're not going to turn the ball over, but after those back-to-back losses, I actually think going on the road is a positive. And San Fran will be on my client card for Sunday.
Ralph likes the 49ers as short chalk in LA over the Rams on Sunday. Ralph Michaels, great info, great segment. What do you have to promote?
Again, Boo 31, one-time usage for any happy cappers, choose wisely, and the college basketball guide, absolutely free, 100 pages. Go to my homepage at WagerTalk, the shortcut, wt.buzz/RM.
Ralph, we're right up against the clock here. Chris L wants to know, when is the NBA sheet coming back?
I wait until 2 weeks are into the season, so just got done with the college basketball guide. That's been probably my priority. By next week, by mid-next week, I should have the guide back on. The daily NBA stat sheet and the college basketball stat sheet will be up this year as well.
Perfect. Guys, let's go. We need some likes. 21 more if you want a presidential address. Teddy, we are not going to a commercial break because someone wasted time discussing steak. Your big game breakdown, bro. Mike is yours.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk NFL early action on Sunday. The Jaguars and the Broncos playing in London. 6:30 a.m. here on the left coast, 9:30 a.m. for you back east. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. I'm seeing the Jags -2.5, total of 40.5. Let's start with this. Russell Wilson announced that he's upgraded to probable, and you know what the line did? Absolutely nothing. Didn't move up, didn't move down. The markets are telling us that Russell Wilson is a moral equivalent of Brett Rippey right now, which he is. The Denver offense is broken. I don't care how many laps Russ Wilson did on the plane over to the UK while his teammates were sleeping. This is an offense that has scored 16 or less 6 times in 7 games, and we're not seeing any signs that it's about to get better. All right. Does Denver play in London? No, they don't play in London every year. The Jags do. They're acclimated to flying across the pond and playing. They played there, I think, 8 times in the last 9 years. They won there last year. They've won there repeatedly in recent seasons. Much shorter flight from Jacksonville than from Denver. It's 4,600-mile flight from Denver. From a team coming off a loss, not buying it. And, of course, the Jags, look, I understand. They're on a 4-game skid. But they've literally been 1 play away. They were a yard away from winning last week. They were a stop away from winning the week before, and a 3rd and 11 touchdown away from covering that game. Jacksonville's not far away. Denver's far away. This point spread range, maybe look at the money line for the Jags. -135, -140. Count me in. I think the Jags win in London again over the Denver Broncos. The Broncos suck, brah. How many times do we have to see it before we believe it?
Okay, brah. You're pretty cool there, Teddy. Brah. Speaking of brah, the only cool dude in this coming segment is Andy freaking Lang. What up, Andy? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Oh, Teddy, you missed a golden opportunity. You could have said, "Let's take the Jags. Let's ride."
Okay, missed it.
Okay, yeah.
Missed
bummer.
opportunity.
Bummer. Well, whew. Okay, Andy, you got some prop bets for us. I'm just going to hand the mic over to you. Can you please be kind enough to do them all at once?
Of course, we'll start with 2 NFL props, and then we'll go into an NBA prop. We'll just keep taking Kyle Pitts under his receiving yard. It's 34.5. He's only gone over this total once this year, and the Falcons just don't throw the ball very much. Even when they're down, they still run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And this is a game that they could very well be ahead of the Panthers. And if they're ahead, they're really not going to throw the ball. The Panthers actually pretty good against tight ends. They only allow 41.7 yards per game. So this is a play that just keeps cashing each week. I mean, this guy was drafted as a very, very high top tier tight end in fantasy leagues. He's been so bad, people are dropping him completely off of their teams. It just goes to show his lack of production this year. I'm shocked they still are keeping this in the mid-30s, so I'll keep playing Kyle Pitts under his receiving yards. We'll do a team total here. The Tennessee Titans over 9.5 first half. It's a little bit juicy, but I'm going to be perfectly fine having this as a client play. Titans, one of the best first half scoring teams this year. They're averaging 15.8 first half points this season. They're averaging 17 first half points the last 3 games against the Commanders and the Colts twice. Texans, they give up over 10 points average in the first half, but the last 3 games, they're averaging over 2 touchdowns at 14.3 points. Houston, one of the worst rush defenses in the league. They give up 165 yards a game on the ground. So Derrick Henry and the Titans have to be licking their chops. I expect them to move the ball with ease. And as long as it stays below 10, all I need is a touchdown and a field goal to cash this one. So give me the Titans as a team total. And then moving to the NBA, a guy I follow very closely here living in Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton. His props have been fantastic. You can go with points, you can go with assists, you can go with his points and assists. But anytime they put his point total below 19 points, I'm just going to take the over. He's gone over this particular total of 17.5 in 4 out of 5 games. The game he went under was last game against Chicago where he had 17, only shot 40% from the field, and it was a complete blowout by Chicago. I like the rebound spot for him. Now, the Wizards, if you just look at the numbers, they rank pretty high in limiting points to shooting and point guards, but they played a game against the Bulls that Zach LaVine didn't play. So the starting guards were Caruso and DeSunmo, who combined for 10 points total. So I think their numbers are a little bit deceiving. Cade Cunningham went over this total against Washington. Donovan Mitchell went way over. And Halliburton has played this team. First game of the season, he had 26 points against him. Washington now has injuries in the backcourt. DeLon Wright is out for 6 weeks at least with a hamstring. Bradley Beal dealing with back tightness. In the last game, his minutes were limited. So this looks like a fantastic matchup for Halliburton tonight. So Tyrese Halliburton, this is a client play as well, over 17.5 points. Shop around. A couple books have moved this to 18.5. So grab it at 17.5 while it's still out there.
So I'm going to ask you about that Titans team total. And I have 2 questions. One, we still don't know if Tannehill's going to play. All right, there's a decent chance he sits. So we worried at all if Tannehill sits. And 2, Derrick Henry's one of these backs that gets stronger as the game goes on and wears defenses down as the game goes on, just like Josh Jacobs did to that Texans defense last week where he ran roughshod on him in the second half, and particularly in the fourth quarter. Why do you want a first half team total there as opposed to a full game?
I kind of hope Tannehill doesn't play because there's not going to be film on the rookie quarterback. I think this is an advantage for Tennessee. As for Derrick Henry, you mentioned getting stronger as the game goes on. This is just a gigantic fade of one of the worst rush defenses in the league. With Houston, I don't think you need to wear them down. I think you just need to show up, and you should be able to take advantage of them. So, honestly, Teddy, it is a great point. And it's why you have to look at the matchup. If this was against a team with a good rush defense, you might hesitate a little bit and say, well, maybe it takes them a little bit to go, to get going. But with Houston, I just don't see how they stop Derrick Henry. And the other thing going forward is Tennessee has gotten off to a really good start, which shows to me really good coaching that their scripted plays the first drive or two. They come out of the gate really hot. So it's a combination of lack of film. I actually hope Tannehill doesn't play. And just the terrible Houston defense.
Yeah, Andy, that was the prop that stood out to me when you were speaking. It makes a ton of sense. I'm so with you. And the Kyle Pitts prop, Andy, I mean, when you're throwing, and I have this right here, when you look at Atlanta, it's not even Kyle Pitts, so to speak. It's that this team does not throw the ball. The Falcons' passing yards last 4 games, 107. Pitts would account for 33% of that. 121, 110, and 131. I love that prop as well, dude. Thank you. What do you got to promote?
5% NFL play is up. We are on an incredible 8-1 run in 5% NFL plays this season. So very happy. And you can use the promo code ANDY59. That's ANDY59 to get you a 7-day pass for the price of a 3-day pass. It's only $59. Get your props across everything. We're off to a great start in NBA and NHL player props. You get the 5%, get UFC, and anything that goes for the next 7 days. We'll have props every single day now that we got NHL and NBA going on. So use that promo code Andy59, get you all those plays. It's the best deal on the board.
And if you guys remember at the top of the show, betting props is fun and a lot of drama. Teddy, we made our 100 likes. Daniel's son, cue it up. Okay, guys, I got 4 bets for you. I got 2 NHL bets to give out, and I got 2 football NFL bets for Sunday for you guys. I just want to make mention. I have a promo code that is up until Sunday that you can use for any one of my packages. If you're going to buy a long-term package, use the promo code BOO31. You can use it at any you can use it for any handicapper over at WagerTalk, but you only get to use it once. So don't waste it on a daily package or a 3-day package. If you want to buy my 3-day package, use the promo code PREZ20. You get 20% off of that package. I got 6 plays going tonight. I got 1 baseball, 1 hockey, 4 NBA plays. I got 7 plays up for Sunday, including a 5% play, and I will have between 4 and 5 college football plays tomorrow. Okay. Let's get to it. I like the Vancouver Canucks tonight, guys. They're plus 150. They're playing Pittsburgh. They finally won last night. I don't think very highly of this Pittsburgh team, and I do think Vancouver is a bet-on team moving forward. I also like the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. They're plus 130. They're playing Boston. Boston is on a back-to-back. Columbus has been sitting there waiting for them. They're at home. I think there's a lot of value there. As for Sunday, regardless of whether Ryan Tannehill plays or not, I absolutely love the Tennessee Titans. That is a client play. It is one of the 7 plays that I am releasing on Sunday, the Tennessee Titans. And I love the under in the Denver-Jacksonville game. Now, I would have released this play for my clients, but I've sworn off of Denver games. So instead of releasing it, I'm giving it to you. Under in Denver. Teddy, my friend, it was a great week doing this with you. I'm taking my daughter out for lunch. Take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the week here at Wager Talk Today. We'll be back again on Monday. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast. Noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games. Have a great week.
Boo! Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off a 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off a 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with a 12-month all-access package. Coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.